Most collectors don't lose money when they buy. They lose money when they refuse to sell. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about the collector bias and when I think it's the right time to sell and what prevents people from doing that. Whether it is an identity crisis, whether that watch is tied to a specific memory, or in some cases, you have a pretty strong price anchor and you just refuse to let that thing go. And yeah, I think it's an important video. So let's get into it. Now, in my opinion, every collection has three cornerstone pieces. You have the sentimental piece, you have the store value piece, and you have the piece that is a daily wear. And if nothing in your collection fits that mark, then maybe it's time to move on. And when I look at the reasons why people hold on to their watches too long, you have stuff like a strong price anchor. As a business, we're guilty of this as well. Maybe you purchased a watch and you purchased it too strong and you're afraid to let it go because you don't want to quote unquote lose money. But at the end of the day, if that watch is sitting in your collector's box, if it's not getting worn, then it's really just dead space. It's a paperweight. It's not a piece that you can enjoy. Another reason that we see pretty often is when you replace the watch in your head, but not on paper. So that is basically you have this huge collection that you enjoy some pieces and you don't enjoy other pieces. And now you're thinking about your next piece and you don't know what to do. And a couple pieces in your collection are just sitting in their box. In that scenario, it's time to move those pieces. Of course, reason being is you've moved on from it mentally, so it's time to move on from it physically as well. It's like that old adage that if you love two women, always choose the second, because if you really love the first, you wouldn't be thinking about the second. It stands true in watches as well. If I'm always thinking about the next piece, and the piece that I have just doesn't elicit that joy or that connection to the rest of my collection, then it's time to move on. And the third piece is something that I'm personally guilty of, and that would be essentially buying a watch that is tied to a specific emotional event. So it has a bit of emotional weight. And I think this is something that rings true with the whole community, but I think it's also the most common reason why people don't get rid of watches. They say, hey, I wore this for my wedding. Hey, this was given to me by a relative that was close to me and they passed. Hey, I got this as a milestone. Maybe you got a promotion and you ended up with this piece. Listen, I'm not one to say sell your grandfather's watch if it's not for you. But at the end of the day, there are pieces that you hold on to specifically for the emotional connection. To dive into my personal collection, the Panerai 911. Beautiful piece. When I first got into watch collection, I said to myself, I'm going to get this piece one day. It's the last of the Panerai, and I don't wear it nearly as much as I should. And I bought it for myself to celebrate 1 year of Tailored Timepieces being successful. It was the first year that we were incorporated, and I don't wear it very often. Is that a piece I'm going to get rid of? Not necessarily, but I do need to keep that in mind that that piece was bought because of an emotional trigger and an event. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just know that, as I said, every piece in your collection does need to fill its role. And sometimes that role is a sentimental piece. And in that regard, that watch does fit that spot in my collection. But again, don't just keep a watch because you feel like you have to. Keep a watch because it fits well into your collection, because it brings you joy. Now, the second part of this equation is how do you move it? So, you know what? You've been sitting on a collection of watches, and let's say you have 10 pieces, maybe two of them are something you wear often and bring you joy, and the eight of them are just things that you acquired. Maybe you've upgraded your collection, and the piece that was your grail piece 3 to 5 years ago is now not a piece that you wear very often because you've upgraded your collection. How do you go about selling those pieces without getting fleeced and without getting cooked on the price, as the youngins say? You have a couple options. You can go on eBay, and eBay is gonna essentially kill you on the fees. And there's anywhere from 12 to 15% in fees. And if you're a store like us, you have a little bit less, but for the most part, you want to avoid those fees. Second option is consignment. Consignment is nice for dealers more so than collectors, I think, because 9 times out of 10, I don't know how some dealers with their consignment programs, but 9 times out of 10, we need the watch in hand to consign it. So basically, you have someone coming up to you and you're saying, hey, I can sell your watch for market or maybe slightly above market because they're not putting cash into it, but I will pay you once it sells. Also, we have to keep the piece in our possession. Now, the reason they do this is because, God forbid it sells or God forbid it's damaged while in your possession, and they can't market it to the client as being in a certain condition if that's not the case. That might work for you if you have pieces in your drawer or you have pieces that are just lying around anyway. So it's like, hey, you know what? If it's going to sit in a case, might as well sit in a display case at my local watch shop, getting some eyes on it when people walk in the door. But my favorite way to get rid of these pieces that just don't elicit joy anymore are trades. And I think trades are incredible because essentially you are filling that role for someone else. You're filling that role of the three watches. Is it a daily wear? Is it an investment piece? Is it a piece that is nostalgic and sentimental? And in that regard, I think that you're going to get your best bang for your buck and your best value is by doing those trades. But again, I think it's important to just realize, hey, when is it time to move on from a piece? And if it's not getting enough first time, just move it. Because at the end of the day, it brings no value to anyone by sitting in a drawer in your apartment, in your bedroom. It brings no joy to anybody by you not wearing it. And this community has plenty of people who want the pieces that you have. So, you know what? Go to a trade event, go to a red bar, go to something that it is social and you can meet that buyer of your other piece and see if you guys can work something out. Because at the end of the day, one of the biggest crimes is to have a piece in your collection that you're just not enjoying and it's preventing you from getting other unique watches that you may enjoy. So this has been a quick video. I really appreciate you guys giving it a listen, giving it a watch. Subscribe if you like more. We're going to be posting these as regularly as we can. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day.